Good evening, everybody. I hope everyone's had a good week so far. I'm just getting my wet palette ready here while I chat with you. I haven't got to do much painting this week, but my Captain Motherfucker Jones is really darn close to being finished, so I'm excited about that. I'm going to try to do some highlights on the metal today, and then I've got a little bit of his shoulder pad to highlight. I might try to highlight his face. I haven't decided yet. I'm really worried about it. I don't know if I'm brave enough, strong enough, good enough. But we'll see. If I never try, I'll never know. So I'm going to do that. The toughest part's going to be to decide when to paint the eyes, if I even try to paint the eyes, or if I just want to make him look like he hasn't slept in days. So we'll see. We'll see what I decide. We'll go from there. I'll make sure I've got everything all set up for you guys. Nope. Yep, that's fine. Okay, there we go. Got that. Around with a couple different camera setups. This is already got junked up, I think. Yeah, that's not too bad. If I can keep my guy here, I hope you can see him. I'm gonna swap this around. There we go. My mic was in the way of my view to check on the camera. But yeah, this is him so far. He's looking pretty good, I think. I ended up on my last stream touching up the base and some other things. I'm gonna hit up the metallics today. And go from there. This is a real close up, so I might try to push him back here. Which means this guy wants to go this way. Get you a better view. There we go. Yeah, so I'm just going to start with the metal on the ground. Make sure it's nice and shiny. But I put some effort into that. The dead Tyrannid, I believe, off stream. But he is looking pretty dead. I like the highlights, how they went in, how they turned out. I'm also going to try to stream without a glove again today. Let's see if my OCD lets me do that. We'll see. Undiagnosed, by the way. I don't want to be out here telling lies. But yeah, I'm going to pull out that metal color first. And for the metal, see if we can get a view of my palette this time. I don't want to use my wet palette because I don't want to get the metal flakes into my sponge at all. So I'm going to pull out the lead belcher, get it nice and shook up for us. My plan is not to highlight the metal on the base too much because I do want everybody, when they pick up my miniature, to focus on the face. What's up, Beer Me? I hope you're having a good week. Oh, my week has been pretty good. I decided to take tomorrow off, so I'm going to be doing some sleeping in tomorrow. Kind of excited about that. I didn't get any water. So dumb. I will be right back. Alright, sorry about that delay there. But yeah, we're gonna throw some metal on here. But yeah, it's been a pretty slow week. But you gotta have those every now and then. Help keep you sane, I guess. Although for me, when I have a slow week, I go crazy. Anybody I work with can attest to that. Remember, I got here too. But yeah, I'm just going to try to thin down this metal a little bit. Not too much. And I'll try to touch up this guy pretty quick. I really do need to highlight his face. I just haven't decided if I'm brave enough. As you know, I'm not super into sports, but this year I'm not entirely excited for the Super Bowl at all. But I will watch it like everybody else. Other than that, I don't have much plans. So I'll probably be building a lot of models and doing a lot of gaming this weekend. And I'm just going to actually put some drops of medium over here. You can't even see it. But I don't want to get the metallics in my pot of medium. Yes. Again, that's another thing this year. I'm not... I have changed my relationship with food, and I am, you know, I'll enjoy some good food and hanging out with friends, but and the commercials, gotta love the commercials. But yeah, a lot of things have changed for me this year as far as food goes. That doesn't excite me as much anymore, which I guess is a good thing. I don't know. What kind of food are you planning on having? I still, even with my diet, have been addicted to salsa. I don't know if my body needs the tomato or the spice or what, but I love salsa. There for a while it was pickled things. I got a friend that is throwing a party. He said there's going to be lots of good food, but he didn't tell me what kind. I don't know. I might end up gaining some weight this weekend. We'll see. But food in general, there's a smoking chicken wings, buffalo chicken dip. Nice. That sounds good. That's one thing that I have been eating as well, is chicken wings. They're not that bad for you, and they're freaking delicious. I've never actually smoked anything, but the most I've ever done is grilled or, you know, use the old air fryer. Alright, now let's get to painting on this guy. What is going on? Why can't... It's not refreshing. zoom. Weird. Try to fix that. Sorry for the technical difficulties. When you hit 40, you go into smoking meats or World War II. I could see that, yeah. That seems to be the trend. I oddly ended up going away from the food route and started playing more tabletop games. I guess I'm a few steps away from making train dioramas, but that's okay. I tried to get into some of the popular World War II shows, or any like war history show, just to say that I've done it, watched them, just because I know a lot of people have. And I went through them, but they just weren't my thing, I don't think. All right, I picked up this lead belcher, so we're gonna hit these rebar pipes here. Bring out the metallics in it again. After hitting it with that shade, it kind of dulled it down. Make it shiny again. And then this guy over here. I do know a lot of people that smoke meats, though. I think that the fact that I'm in an apartment is that kind of hinders that a little bit. But I guess I could still get a smoker. Heck yeah. I got a huge board game collection. I had lost a lot of my board games, but I've rebuilt it up. But none of them are like board games that are like mainstream board games either. I've got a couple different versions of Small World, which is a fantastic game. If you haven't tried it yet, it's a lot like Risk, but with different fantasy species. It's really great. That's one of my favorites, actually. And then I have Pandemic, and then I have Catan, which I still haven't actually played the board game. I've played it on VR, but never had people over to play it. What else? Oh, Terraforming Mars. That was the other one I picked up. It's good. I actually went to my heck yeah, Small World, I love it. I went to my local game store that has those types of board games recently because they were having a Warhammer tournament, and I just wanted to see people play it. Stop in and see. And the last time I was there, I bought all those games. Colt Express is a great train robbing game. I'll have to check it out. I've played Ticket to Ride on PC, but no, I didn't enjoy that enough to go out and buy it, but I will check out Colt Express. But yeah, so I went to this game store where I bought those board games, and they're having this tournament. I found out that I actually had like store credit with them from forever ago. I don't even know how long. So I ended up spending that while I was there, and a little extra just to make my presence worth it for them, because I didn't enter into the tournament. I was just there. I did my patronage part and spent some money there. Next time I go, I'll have to check out, see if I can find that Colt Express game. I'm just going to touch up any of these silver parts here after that wash dried it out a little bit. Yeah, I was excited about it. First they asked me if I had an account, and I was like, yeah, if it's still in there, it's from a long time ago. And then they said my address, and I was like, yeah, that's me. And well, $15, heck yeah. So I ended up getting some paints, believe it or not, and some rubble, some concrete rubble that they had there. All painting stuff. I can't help myself. Alright, so light's coming from this direction on this guy, so I'm going to pull out just lines of highlights on this part of the gun. Oh no, I buggered up the front of the gun. Be careful, Terry. When I was there, I was talking to some people playing, and one of them had actually watched my stream, and he said it looks really good, but he advised me not to pay so much attention to detail for my entire army if I build an army, because it would drive me insane. And that's probably good advice, but I'm probably also going to ignore it, because that's just how I roll. Not ignoring advice, but I'm still obviously painstakingly working on this captain. You know, for a few reasons. I'm afraid to get to his face, and the Tyrannid kind of scares me because he's mostly purple, and it kind of falls within the range of stuff I can't see so good with my color blindness. That's right. That's what I kind of told him. I said, yeah, I get it, because I can see how most people would get burnt out or just irritated with painting. But me, getting into this detail really helps me unwind, keeps me busy. Now, I just remembered I kind of goofed up on the sword a little bit because I used a shade to try to get in those grooves first. So then I came back with a different color that was a contrast. So I'm going to try to cover up just the raised part of the sword and not mess with my runes that I have recolored. Yeah, I see myself, like, after the captain and after my psychophage, I get more into multiple models of the same unit type. And when I get into that, I'm going to probably be less focused on the details and more into batch painting. Like, if I've got 4 Terminators to paint, I'll just paint them all at once. Try to keep them within the same scheme of this guy, but my goal here is just to bring back some of that shine to this sword with the metallic paints that I covered up with the shade. I don't think I want to use shade on metals anymore. It makes it easier to visualize where the light should be, but it takes away from the shine. So I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I was doing a little bit of YouTube channel networking while I was there, because I was showing my stuff to this other guy, and he immediately asked me if I did commissions. I said, not yet. So So I got into it because of video games. I picked up Space Marine 2. Had a blast. I don't play too many PvE games, really. And I had such a good time with it, and the story that I started looking into the lore, which when it comes to Warhammer 40k, the lore, it seems endless, which is great. I'm really enjoying it. So I started getting into the lore, and I was looking at just buying the game to play it, and then I realized that you had to paint him. Like, I thought I could get a starter kit, and it would be just like any other board game I picked up. So at first I was like, oh, I don't want to be painting things. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I got my getting started kit, and I started going, and I just started watching a bunch of YouTube videos on how to paint, and realized I had kind of a knack for it as far as starting out. I know I have a lot of room for improvement. But that's it. It was all because of a video game. So now, but for the longest time, I could, people asked me what I did with my free time, and all it was video games or drinking. And now I've got another hobby, which is great, because it's been more enjoyable than I could have imagined. It's been fun. When you're sitting at work thinking, man, I wish I was at home painting, I think that means I enjoy it. I realize I forgot to highlight this guy, pull up more of his shininess. I think I've got the sword kind of where I want it. I want to leave that side kind of dingy. No, I don't, because you can tell I put paint there. All right. My eventual plan for this sword is to put some blood on it too. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and comparably for beginner, I think it's pretty good too. I can give myself that compliment, because I've seen a lot of beginner stuff that is just not as good. But I think the biggest part of getting past the hurdles is patience, an eye for detail, and knowledge of how. The biggest thing with art, even like drawing when I was growing up, is I never understood light. So that, I think, helps with the miniatures, because you can prime it black and you can shine a light on it and physically see 3D where the light would shine. Just like this armor here, you can tell where, because it's metallic, it reflects really well on the camera. You can tell where that natural highlight's going to be. So someone that's really talented in the arena would do what they call a non-metallic metal, and they would paint that reflection with just different colors of highlights. I'm not to that point, but I might be someday if I keep at it. Like this stuff here was my attempt at a highlight of his armor. So that's all. I don't know if you can see it here. I'm going to turn it this way. Yeah, so that's obviously painted on and not an actual reflection of light. That's the hardest part for me, I think, is trying to figure out, because otherwise it just looks like a flat blue or a flat whatever, and it's not any fun. Alright, so I think I've got all the silver touched up that I want to. Yeah, I might touch up this guy right here just a little bit at the front. Because this is the side that the light's going to be coming from. In my imagination. that's not much, but... And then his Iron Halo. But yeah, if you haven't seen the game, it's pretty good. It's right up there with Helldivers, and it's kind of the same atmosphere as far as Space Marines and Helldivers comparably as a game. You know, the attitude of the Space Marines primarily is kill all aliens, and that's the way it is in Helldivers. The only difference being, well, there's a lot of differences, but the main difference being in Helldivers, it's for democracy and managed democracy. And in the Space Marines, it's for the Emperor. Alright, so now I'm going to pull out some more of the gold aspects. I think I'm going to leave that silver piping on the back just as is. I like it. The part that I am most worried about on this guy, that I am going to eventually do, is manually put in highlights on his face. I just basically gave it one color to start out with, and yeah, I gave it one color to start out with, and then I hit it with a wash to naturally pull out the shadow parts. But I want to try to refine my skill and maybe try to paint his eyeball and eyeballs. And then, now that I can see where the highlights are, pull out some of those highlights manually just to get better with my brush strokes and painting later. But yeah, so I had that one guy ask me if I would do commissions, and I told him not yet, but if I continue to enjoy it as much as I do, that's fine. I would like to, you know, I may just end up doing that. Go on Fiverr and do some commissions for people, and or even just people around here that want stuff painted. Alright, we're going to do the gold first. But it's also a possibility that, you know, I'll get tired of this. I hope not. I've got $180 worth of plastic to paint still. Right? Yeah, I guess I could have told him, you know, I don't know how much you're willing to pay. But I also don't want to charge more than what I'm worth yet. But at the same time, right, things are worth what people are willing to pay for, you know. There is that fact. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe one day. Alright, I'm going to get some of this gold ready for me, thinned out. I think I use, Retributor armor. Once I touch up the gold, I'm going to hit the gray shoulder pad and make it better. I'm actually kind of excited that this guy's almost done. Good old motherfucker Jones. the first one that I feel like I've done a pretty decent job at. Up until like I started doing the highlights, I just used water to thin down my paints, but here in the last stages I wanted to use my medium just so the paints don't break apart too much. It looks a little better, I think. Normally, I set my paints aside, or my paintbrushes aside that I've used, but I've got one that I've used here today that I don't know where it went to. So I'm afraid it's going to end up being put up wet, and I don't want that. That's okay. It was one of my synthetic ones. Okay. On to the gold. Yeah, so those guys that were playing, they ended up basically spending all day at the store, which would be fun if I knew what I was doing. I had my own army that I was invested in. It was really neat to watch. I watched it for probably about 2 hours on Saturday. Got to see everybody's different armies. That was fun. When I was talking about it at work, I realized that I had some other friends that were actually in the store looking for cards, and they happened to be there right as I left for lunch and to go do some other shopping. And then, of course, I ran into a couple people already that I knew were going to be there. So, as far as how long a game takes, you can do a smaller, like Strike Forces, and they have different sizes of armies, and what they gauge it on is points. The most common is like a 2,000 point army. Those take about an hour to 2 hours, from what I've seen. But you can take it anywhere from, you know, a casual skirmish that's like an hour to 2 hours, or like a big, they have chapters, or, you know, they have just different sizes. But some people even get games together that not only last all day, that you can socialize around. It can be a campaign just like D&D that lasts several different sessions. You'd have to have a lot of space just to leave stuff sitting around, I imagine. But yeah, just a couple hours. The first games I plan on trying out with my brother are going to be small, and I'm sure that we'll have a couple beers and talk about the news. And is that zoomed in? Yes, it is. Talk about the news and destroy each other through war. We'll try it out. It should be fun. But yeah, that's the other part too about the people I ran into at the store, the game store. I know them well enough that, you know, they want to get a game together once I have an army. So I'm excited to. That's the hardest part, I think, about it, is finding other people to play. But there's even, you know, my community's not that large, and even to have people around here that play enough is kind of encouraging. But yeah, I think it'll be fun. When I realized how big this starter box was, I had to let my brother know, because I told him I was getting it, and he said he would play, and And then I got the starter box, and I was like, it's probably going to take me a few months to get this ready. Which will work out, too, because it'll probably be after March Madness when it's finally all ready to go. Although, if you had the game on in the background, I think it'd be fun to play war games on the tabletop and watch a game in the background. Yeah, Beer Me, I'd tell me about it. Adults are dumb. They got stuff to do and obligations and things that they find more important than playing games. And dumb. No, but I have a group of people that I work with too that we've had a game night, and it's always fun. It's not something that people often think about these days, sadly. But getting together and playing a game is probably one of my favorite things to do as a group. Used to be getting around just getting drunk together, but I don't know, that gets old after a while. Probably got old quicker for most people than it had for me. Because, as you know, I didn't do all that in college or high school, so in about my late 20s, early 30s is when I started going to bars, and I did that for way too long. Part of it was, networking for my job and entertaining guests, but I use that as an excuse. I really... going to the bar was my hobby. Alright, I think my Iron Halo's looking good. I did notice that the hilt of his sword needed a little work. So I'm going to shine up this skull a little bit. But yeah, I'd like to find a group of people that play board games more often too. Maybe pick up some new ones. When I lived in the casino town where I worked, I had a group of friends that I tried to get to do a game night, but they were my drinking buddies, and some of them just couldn't handle it. I pulled out Small World, and they're like, "What kind of nerd shit you got me playing?" Yeah, sloppy drunks are... But, it's only been a recent development for me that I don't get sloppy drunk. Unfortunately. Oh, shoot. But yeah, I don't do much, even beers anymore. I will probably have a couple on Sunday, though. I'll go over to that Super Bowl party, have a few beers, shoot some pool at my buddy's house, probably play some cornhole. But I would imagine that I would be able to just have a few, sober up, and drive home, which is kind of, if you would have asked me a year ago if I'd be able to do that, I would have told you you're crazy. Yeah, you're right. People that call games nerd games, and if they give it a chance, they'd love it. This guy was not going to. He was But that's okay. I still love him. He wasn't going to ever give it a chance. He would have loved it, though. I keep telling a friend of mine at work that whenever she was like, she'll be like, oh, I don't play Warhammer. And I'm like, well, you know, there's a lot of dice rolling. You know, it's a lot like, you like Yahtzee? It's like that. And so now I just make jokes with her, like, you know, Yahtzee is the gateway drug for Warhammer. She would probably, you know, play it on a whim, but I would have to make an army for her. Alright, so I've got the basic metal pulled out, I think, on this guy. I got the bullets redone. I think the base is finally done. Now that I've touched up that metal, I think I can call that base done. I'm eventually going to have to paint his face. I'm so scared. While I'm here, I'm going to get out my magnifiers. He's got a service stud on his head I wanted to touch up as well. I'm going to get my magnifiers out and get a little brave. And I'm going to get a smaller brush though. See, that's one thing about this is it's already started to dry up. I just realized. I had that pointing at the palette, and that's why it was such a weird angle. Alright, here we go. Be brave, Terry. You got this. Alright. This brush does not have much of a point. Sorry, I gotta be quiet. I don't have to be quiet, but I'm nervous about his face. Oh yeah, I got it. See? Damn. I've connected him. But I can, when I go, now I am going to have to highlight his face so that I can fix that. It's me stressing over the details again. I was able to recover it there with some wetness. Whew. Okay. See? All better. Come on, focus. Now, put this down again. Yeah, I may just try to do the face off camera so I'm not too super stressed out. Pulled out those server studs a little bit, though. Got brave. Did a little something, something. Now, where was I going to do next after that? Ah, yes. Brighter metallics. I think I am going to end up getting the metallics done tonight. And probably will do the face. I'll just do like a before and after for you guys on the face, because I probably won't be very talkative. Yeah, you had mentioned the Colt Express. Are there any other games I need to add to them? Because I've been wanting to try out some new board games. I really need to get people. I just need to sit down and make people play Catan, because it seems like a fun game. I have it in my closet, and all the pieces are still just sitting in the cardboard, not even punched out, I don't think. That's not true. I just remembered. I think I took it to a family holiday event, and the kids pulled it out, and one of the older ones was teaching everybody else how to play it. So at least it's been played. It's been used. Don't ask about Catan. Either you're not a fan or you haven't played it yet, but it's you know, it's what it is. What it is. There's trading involved, resources, victory points, and whatnot. Thieving. We actually, some of my friends, there was a humble bundle of a bunch of different board games, and we all got it. So for a long time we were playing different board games. Small World was one of them. But we finally, we were going to pull out Ticket to Ride to try to play that. And they have discontinued the multiplayer servers for that game. Rival Restaurants. Okay. Alright, I'll have to remember to check that out. Colt Express, Rival Restaurants. I had a girlfriend introduce me to a card game, Wizard. And I introduced that to my family. And that is all we play when we get together now. So we can try to rotate a board game in there. That's not true. We also play Cards Against Humanity, which is more fun with family, I think. When you some of the things you can make your mother say just by reading a card. It's a blast. It's good times. Alright, so let's get out. I've gotten the wrong gold. Let me get my brighter gold. I'll just start with the iron. And get my brighter silver color out. Throw some iron belcher on top of that silver. Yeah, you gotta trick her into it somehow. That's the trick. All right. Silver. Just having mom and my brother's family, all his in-laws play that game say awkward stuff to each other. So much fun. I'm not gonna mess with the medium this time because I'm over it. Just gonna thin this down with some water this time. I do think while I'm, sitting here chatting with you and painting at the same time, it's allowing me to allow myself to make mistakes and realize that they're easier to fix than I imagine, and not take too long sitting here stressing about different things. Let's see. What I had to do with accidents. That's funny. That's all you need. You only need to trick them into playing it once. I'm just going to do an edge of highlight with this iron breaker, I think, on the top of this sword. Make it a little bit brighter. Because that's pretty much the exact direction I imagine the sunlight's coming from. I don't know. I'm going to hit this power node too because I don't know if I'm going to try to make that glow or not. Probably not. Maybe. I might. We'll see. Trying to get down the center of this thing. Toughest thing is, this is my synthetic brush with these metals because I don't want to use my expensive real hair brushes. I don't want to get these metal flakes inside my Kolinsky brush. I think that's enough for the sword. I hit the top of this gun here a little bit. But yeah, my mom, we did, it was a little shocking for my mom, my sister-in-law's mom, my sister-in-law's brother. But we've got them to play it again because they realize how much fun it is. So they've got different terms within the hobby. Most people paint their gaming pieces as parade ready. No, sorry. Battle ready. The type of detail I'm putting into this guy, they would call parade ready. And I think... am I brave enough? Touch it a little bit. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, looks good. I don't think I messed it up. Focus. Yeah, maybe a little. Again, if I did get that on his eyebrow, I can fix it. No, that's just the light. Alright. Now I'm going to get my other gold, pull out some more gold highlights. kind of like it the way it is. Maybe around his face. Oh yeah, I'm going to pull out some more gold around his face to draw people's eyes there. And then I'm going to change out my water and work on some regular old normal colors. I will be back shortly. And I'm back. Got my focus all screwed up over there. I haven't used any of these lighter golds yet, so basically breaking these guys in for the first time. That much of it though. As little as I've highlighted. And I think that's going to be enough water for that guy. I just realized I'm not changing the focus at all anymore. Cool. But I think next week is the launch of the new Civ game. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not sure when the new Monster Hunter comes out, but I'll probably get sucked into that one too. You get out of there, Blue Brush. You're in my way. I do plan on building a lot of models this weekend. I think it'll do good to motivate me to paint more if I have my models built, set out, and ready to paint. start with the top of this guy's dome. Try to make it circular. Yeah. I actually don't do too many full price games at launch anymore, but that's one that I had to. I've actually already pre-purchased it. I know I'm going to get a lot of life out of that game. So that's how I justified it. I'm just trying to barely touch up this guy. These little parts of the wings. The thing about Civ is you could really get lost in all the nuances and details and different ways to play, and you really have to be a student of the game. I've never played it enough to play it on the more difficult levels. I've got a buddy that is really good at the game, and he I forget what the insane difficulty level is on that game, but he plays it at that level. Yeah, for sure. We'll probably, whenever it does go on sale, just let me know. Here for a while, me and my buddies will probably have what we call Civ Sunday once it comes out. Which, the first round of Civ Sunday we did as a group, I was still a heavy drinker, so they would give me such a hard time because my turns would take forever. So this time, maybe I won't be as troublesome for him. We'll see. Going to try to pop each one of these rivets with a little highlight. I don't know if it's the lighting or if it's my current shade of color and blindness, but I can't see too much of a difference in this gold. But I can see enough to where it's making a difference. Bringing out more highlights, more shiny. I need to go through my other videos and do another sped up version of each one. I enjoyed doing that editing. I always forget that, you know, that's my another hobby now, is the video editing. That's a hobby in and of itself that I put a lot of time into. But I enjoy that as well. I keep thinking I'm going to upgrade to like an Adobe Pro for my video editing. I just haven't made that plunge yet either. Right now I use Cyberlink, and that does pretty well for me. I think it does well for any beginner editor, and then it's got enough advanced features to dive into and do more stuff with. I kind of want to do that entire skull on the halo just to... No, because that's not how light works. But I will touch up the top of it. It's amazing how, you know, as you're doing this, it's such little changes that you really don't see the difference but if you have like a before and after, it really does pop. It really does change the contrast. It makes it a more dynamic thing to look at. I've got one more lighter shade of that gold. Yeah, I never tried that one. I might look into that one as well. But, you know, I never paid too much attention to thumbnails, which is a bad... It's not bad if you're actually, you know, trying to get it going. I mean, it's a bad thing because thumbnails are important. But now, the more that I do thumbnails, the more I want, like, Photoshop. And if I'm going to get Photoshop, I might as well get their video editor. So, get Adobe Pro, just get the whole suite. But it's not a... it would take a lot for me to justify it at this point. Because, you know, it's not just a cheap yearly subscription. It's a good chunk. So now I just use Canva. Now that I'm actually doing more of the... This is a really thick layer paint. Now that I'm doing more of the attention to the thumbnails, I just use Canva for that. It's free. It's really bright though. I like it. Excited about games this weekend because been getting back into Sea of Thieves. I posted a video this week of the first maybe couple nights of getting back into the game. So much fun. And in typical Terry fashion, I have been watching YouTube videos to get tips on Sea of Thieves again. So these 12-year-old kids can't punk me out after they sink my ship. And then I have to say things about their mother. It's just not nice. Just trying to barely touch it now with this color, but I'm not super stressing over getting my magnifying glass out or anything. I did end up getting a photo booth so I can upload onto my Instagram some just kind of a progression of my models. I've already done some, but now that I've got the photo booth, I'm gonna do a final picture of my second. Now this will be my third model. I'm waiting until I get this guy done, which, like I said, he'll probably be done this weekend. Yeah, I'm really happy with the metallics. Before I started this guy, I was really just afraid of highlights and trying to figure out how it's all going to look. But you really do just have to dive into it, because now that I have, it's very rewarding and easier than I thought. think I'm going to get some highlights going on this guy. Actually use my wet palette. And go from there. Really excited about the summer. But I recently lost a bunch of weight, so I had to spend a bunch of money on winter clothes. And now I'm also not wanting summer because I'm going to have to buy shorts and t-shirts and all that jazz. I'm not ready for all that. So I have mixed feelings about summer this year. One thing I know for sure is I'm ready to get Motherfucker Jones into battle. But in order for him to get into battle, I've got to get him finished, and then I paint that Tyranid behind him, and then I can do the kit that I had has like a training mission for just these two pieces, so I can at least do that much after I get these two done. Yeah, it is a good problem to have. It's a happy problem. This week was actually the first week for me wearing my new clothes, and I'm sure people have noticed throughout the months that I've lost weight, but actually wearing clothes that fit, I've gotten a lot of compliments and a lot of people coming up to me and talking to me about it. Because it makes it more noticeable when you're not wearing clown pants anymore. Alright, let's get this guy going. So I've got 3 different shades of gray. There's what they call a triad that I'm going to be using to highlight this guy. The final actually being white. So I'm going to bring it up to white. But we'll get our colors on the palette here. Yeah, we didn't need to do all that flippy floppy nonsense. Let me get rid of my dry palette so you guys can see my wet palette. Cover up my psychophage right back there. Sorry, lady. But yeah, so I've got the base as Celestial Gray. And I'll be doing some layers with the Uthalon Gray. Finishing up with White Scar. So we'll get these guys on my palette, put some medium in between them. And that'll probably be the end of my stream tonight, is just highlighting this gray. And then I'll decide what to do with the rest of my evening. But yeah, bear me up. I've lost, it's been about 6 months maybe now, and I've lost about 80 pounds in that amount of time. So pretty excited about it. I know I've already mentioned I've changed my relationship with food, so I do feel like it's going to stick this time. Provided I don't have another divorce. But considering that I don't even have a girlfriend, I don't think a divorce is going to be a problem in my near future. Ah! Didn't mean to shake you up there. Alright. Got this guy mixed up. This is really boring, just putting stuff on a pallet. But you know, that's probably something I can improve, is to go ahead and have my colors down on the palette, so I don't have to do it midstream. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a journey. You know, everybody says that, you know, it's a journey, but it's cliche, but it's also true. The next thing is quitting nicotine. I don't see that happening this year. But never say never. Ew, it needs more vibration. I also need to put some balls in these. I'll put them to the side so I remember to do that. Gotta have balls. Getting ready for my weddings. Doing the whole personal trainer thing. Nice. Yeah, I'm considering a personal trainer too. I don't know why. What happened between, you know, going to the gym in high school for football and just living life. But now I go to the gym. Of course, I'm going to the gym in a college town, but I don't know if that has really any effect on my mental problems. But it's just really tough for me to. I'm very intimidated by the machines, and then I just know people are going to be waiting for it, and I'm not going to use it right. So I need a trainer to kind of give me an idea what to do. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I get that far down the road this year. I'm sure I will this year, but I'm definitely waiting on the new year, new me crowd to thin out a little bit. I know I'm part of that technically, but I just don't want to be in there with a big bunch of people looking at the chubby guy on the weight machines and wondering why he's taking so long, or it looks like he hasn't lifted weights since high school. Not just by his looks, but by the fact that he has no idea what he's doing. See, this one's already got the ball in it. Gotta have the balls. In fact, last year I tried to start going to the gym. I bought a bunch of gym clothes, and the gym bag stayed in my car just so I could go to the gym after work. It's still in my trunk. I need to get that out this weekend because I doubt those gym clothes fit me anymore. Oh, that'd be perfect. That's what I need. I need something that, I can go in and they just tell me what to do and make me do it, and I do it. Problem with that is around here, what I've found through talking to people is those smaller gyms are pricier. And not just for the personal trainer part. But like if I go to the big gym like Planet Fitness, the monthly memberships, like, I mean, you can go as low as $15 a month. Even just a membership to some of the gyms here in my smaller town, I've heard, are like $60 a month, and that's without a personal trainer. And it makes sense financially because you don't have as many members. So, the membership's more, but I don't know. It just that big of a jump is a tough justification for me, but I just need to make it a priority. Spend the money there. It'll be an easier jump to spend money on a gym than it will be to do the Adobe Suite. That's for sure. Ah, nice. Yeah, that helps. When I worked for the casino. They had their own they had their own gym for their employees, which was nice. They didn't have personal trainers, but no membership fee. And the equipment they had was pretty good. Alright. Bring this back up. Get to a comfortable spot so I can work on this. I think that's gonna be our wiener. Now I can get out my Kalinskis again. Oh no. Oh, there it is. I'll put it in here. I have a friend at work that keeps offering me to go to their home gym as well. I should just do that, to be honest, because they already have their own routine. They could help me get a routine. I would be with friends. Having that accountability would help. But it's also a little bit of, I don't know. I don't know why, but I guess working out, I feel a little vulnerable. I don't know if I want to be, vulnerable around my coworkers like that, but I just need to get over it and just go with them and improve myself. One thing I did realize just now is I'm about to switch from metallic paints to my regular acrylic paints and my Kolinsky brush. So because of that, I'm going to change my water. So I will be right back. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, they really are offering. In fact, they've already got a group that goes. I really should just do it. I don't know what my reluctance is, other than being embarrassed, I guess. But I talk about anything and everything with these people. Probably the closest friends I have right now. So I don't know why I would be embarrassed, but, you know. Sometimes you can't explain your embarrassment. I might just start going with them next week. We'll see. All right. This shoulder panel figured out here. I think I did get another camera mount to try to get a better camera angle for when I want to stream painting. Well, I'm glad you understand. It's just a whole level of, I don't a mental block. It's just another one of those mental blocks I get to get over. It's exciting to hear about your wedding, though. I'm glad you got that going for you. No better way to get ready for that than to work on yourself. Yep. Yeah, I think we all can get in our own head. It's part of the human condition, unfortunately. And then we try to protect ourselves from a problem that's really not a problem. And we just hinder ourselves, but why do we do that? It's so silly. Alright, I got this guy, this well pretty full. Test it out on my thumb. Focus. I don't think the autofocus works very well on this guy. I may end up just turning that off. I'm gonna try it. I'll just turn it off. That's probably gonna be the best idea. But yeah, I think we all get in our own heads a lot. Yeah, just take this painting for example. I am afraid to touch his face. I'm going to have to do it, and once I do it, I'm going to be fine, I'm sure. This doesn't have a point. I'm going to twist it on my finger here to get that point. Ah, balls. Empty out the paint well. Oh man, I think that's way better without the autofocus. When I go back to watch this, it's probably going to be out of focus half the time. That's okay, that's part of the learning curve on this too. That's another example is going live. So as far as gaming goes, I felt like there's not much going live I could do, because mainly when I'm gaming with my buddies who you never know what they're going to say. So going live is probably never going to be on the table with them. Again, never say never. And I've always been, a little apprehensive about going live. But I decided this year, just to do it. And I've had a lot of fun chatting with you and anybody else who jumps in the chat. I'm sure the more I'm not very consistent yet, and the more I get more consistent, and I keep rewatching this, trying to get it better. And that autofocus thing is one of the things that is going to get better. I think having that off has already made this exponentially better. Alright, so I've pulled back some of that base color. Now, I'm going to add some water to this mid-tone. Try to get a more refined highlight on that color. Hopefully I haven't added too much water. Yeah, they talking about work. We'll albeit in a thing, and you know, you gotta have your time to talk with your buddies about stuff you're going through. You don't want to put that out in the ether forever, you know. But also, yeah. So I think you were watching me the one solo I tried to do. I'll probably try to do that again this weekend too, just for funsies. But yeah, it's that. But yeah, the other thing is, you know, we like to joke around and kid, and sometimes it gets out of hand too. But it's not too bad because, you know, a lot of the people I game with, I know from ministry circles. So I mean, we're all, you know, they're all good people, but we're all human though too. That's what some people don't realize. We all make mistakes, say silly things. Now, is that too much of a highlight, do you think? It's definitely enough for that color. Yeah. I do want to try to bring this around a little bit more. Yeah, so gaming solo is probably going to be the way to do it. I do think I'll probably do some scary games, and I think it'd be pretty entertaining to watch playing scary games. I just haven't played too many solo games. That used to be my jam. That used to be all I did, but now it's kind of the opposite. The only thing I do is with my squad. That's how we all wind down and socialize. So I don't quite like how that one kind of went into the recess there a little bit on the right. It was like it was too watered down. Other than that, I'm okay with it. In fact, I think I'm gonna try to come back with a little darker color there. I need to let it dry first, but I can't help myself. It's fine. Everything's fine. Don't stress over the small stuff. It's only your third guy, Terry. All right. I mean, going to that third level, is almost a little much because I like the way it looks. Which ultimately is what we're going for, right? That's what's important. I know what I'll do. Since I've got the white out, I am going to hit this gemstone because I'm going to go over that gemstone with the technical red to try to make it look like a gemstone. So I'm going to take my white scar and go at that gemstone, bring out the white there because I'm going to cover it up with a less opaque red. I don't want the white to shine through. I need to do that to the knee as well. I've already got a little bit of dried paint on the tip of my brush here. Make it stop. I think I got it. All right, here we go. Gemstone. There we go. I got a good flow coming out of the brush. Instead of just doing the top though, I'm going to make the whole thing white. So we can come back with that red spirit stone, I think is what it's called. It's a technical paint from Citadel. I'm beginning to think that this guy is definitely going to be the most detailed tabletop that I'm going to have for a while. Eventually, I can see myself maybe going a little larger scale and just painting miniatures for display, because I'm really enjoying it. And the more I do, the more I learn. Like about the triads of colors and where to place highlights. Like on this guy, I overdid the highlights just under his face. So the ones that are toward to the left aren't really natural. I was trying just to hit the inside rim as if the light was coming from this direction. But then that makes these not as natural. So I learned a little bit doing that, but he's gonna stay just like that, you know, because he's Motherfucker Jones, and he doesn't give a fuck about physics or the way light works. Doesn't fuck around. All he cares about is killing fucking aliens, because that's all that matters. As long as you're killing the aliens for the Emperor. And for Ultramar. Alright, I've got my stones ready to be stonified. Which I think should be a word now, stonified. And I think I am going to try to do just a little bit of the highlight with the white. Not much, but just enough to see if I can pull it off. Really nervous about eventually doing eyeballs. It's a lot harder to keep a tip on the brush than I imagined it would be. Pros make it look easy, man. Yeah, see, I touched up a little more than I meant to there. That's not bad. I just realized too that I only pulled out my magnifiers once tonight, so I'm gotten more confident at least. What's up, Josh? All right. So I think I've got him pretty much highlighted. I like the way the cape turned out. The base is okay, but that's okay. It's just the base. Nobody's supposed to be paying too much attention to that. So ultimately, all I have left to do is highlight his face. Then put some technical mud down here. Do my gemstones. And then after taking all the time to do all this detail, I'm going to splash red blood all over it. Because that's what you do. It's a grimdark future. You gotta throw the blood all over it. And if I might get frisky and try to do maybe like a drop of blood hanging from the end of his sword. We'll see. This is all kind of learning experience for me. So Motherfucker Jones is gonna look like he's been through some shit. He already has what I turned into blood splatter up here. Because when I cut him from the sprue, I bent his iron halo. So instead of trying to fix it with super glue, which I should have done, I went and bought some UV resin. I thought that'd be better. And it, it's still pretty cool. I'm glad I have it. The problem with UV resin is when I put it on there to set, I thought it wasn't that much covered. And I didn't realize it until I set the resin how much of it covered. So I was like, well, that's going to be a big splotch of blood on his iron halo. And ta-da, it's fixed. So it's a lot sturdier now. So you got that. Alright. But yeah, I think, aside from his face, the paint part's pretty done. I say the paint part, but anything before the final touches, those special effects. What time is it? 7:41. I think I'm going to try to touch up his face. So I'm going to get some paints on my palette, get some nicotine, get a cup of water, and I'm going to hunker in and see what kind of damage I can do to his face. I will be right back. while I was gone, I went and bumped my camera setup. But it might be just a happy accident, because I think it's going to give us a better view for the damage I'm going to do to this guy's face. Man, I just need to watch how I say things. Alright, I'll put this back. I am going to get my magnifiers out for this. And in case you didn't know, I'm really nervous. I'm a little scared, if I'm being honest. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay if he gets a little scuffed up. I'm gonna get the paint off this brush that I put on it earlier. Get my stuff down on the palette. I'm gonna put down some medium so I can get some good mixes and hopefully some nice little highlights on the face. Here, in case I try to mix it, and here. Alright, here we go. Get a nice stable spot here. Over a little bit. Alright, now I got a good view. Do you? Yeah, it's decent. Alright. Here goes nothing. Go. So, what I did to start out with is I did Cadian Flesh Tone. And, oh, why am I don't want this brush. Okay, get rid of that. I did Cadian Flesh Tone, and I put a wash over the top of it. It helped me see the recesses, and you know, I could have just left it like that, and it would have been quote-unquote battle ready. But I'm extra, folks, so I'm gonna do extra things. Make sure I got a point on my brush here. And just do the thing. I'm just going to do it. Here we go. I'm going to do it. Okay. Obviously, we need a highlight on his nose. Ugh, so nervous. Okay. There you go. See, that wasn't so hard, Terry. Hit his cheek here. Oh, see. I got into that recess. I didn't want to do that. It's okay. Part of the learning process. You gotta learn your brush control. I'm already losing my tip, so I'm gonna add more moisture to my brush. Kind of a glaze. I need a little more color. Now I'm getting the consistency I want on my finger here. So go back on the face. I really couldn't imagine trying to do the eyeballs. I need to, though. Maybe not with this guy. I'm really, like, trying to talk to you guys, but I'm also holding my breath because I don't want to fuck this up. Oh no! It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Now he has a scar on his face. I'm gonna have to come back across that with some Bogman's Glow to make me happy, I think. I'm feeling a little more confident about these highlights now. Luckily, it looks like it's, you know, the side of the face that you guys can see right now is the one that's going to hit the most highlights from the light, so it's not going to be crazy hard. But yeah, I can see where this is going to take practice. But he already looks better just with those little highlights. You know what? I'm feeling saucy. Let's try to get those eyeballs. Let's see what happens. I'll leave him there for you guys while I go get some... I think I'm just going to go straight in with Wraithbone for the eyeballs. It's so small. And just put a little dot, basically. I don't even know if I'll do a pupil. We'll see what it looks like. Oh man, this is getting exciting. I'm getting brave. I'm going to bring out a smaller brush though. I thought I had a 00 in here. Yeah, there it is. It's a 5, so fuck it. I'll use that. Why is that doing back there? Okay, I'm scared. Wraithbone. I'm running over my camera cord. I'll be right back. I'm back. Wraithbone. Fix my camera situation. Get some of this down. On my wet palette. Boom, boom, boom. I think that's mixed enough, actually. This thing's so tiny. Here we go. That's what she said. Okay. Scared. He's scared. Shit. Yeah, I really fucked it up. Oh, man. It's alright, I'll be able to fix it. I don't want him to look like a zombie like that, though. Well, I've learned something. Don't do this. Still dry. What the heck's going on here? Alright, so welcome to my learning experience on this one. I have covered his eye sockets with this white, and I can't even get it to go in the socket where the freaking eyeballs are supposed to be. But man, it's getting all around it. Alright, cool. That's really frustrating. Alright, now I get to go in and fix it. That's what he looks like now, though. How realistic does that look? It's good. Get you a good focus. Come on, you stinking thing. There it goes. Yay. What did I do? It's alright. Now I get to fix it. The other thing I've learned is that it is a back and forth. I'm gonna need, I don't know why I put that down. I'm gonna need that. I'm also gonna need nicotine. They weren't lying when they said eyeballs were hard. I couldn't even get the white in there. I couldn't imagine trying to put a pupil on this guy. So to fix it, I'm going to go get some Bogman's Glow, bring it back down to a real dark tone around the eye, and then bring it up from there. I sound really stressed out because I am, but that's okay. I'm going to stick it out. We're going to get it done. I shouldn't have started this. But I'm determined to fix it now. So that is what I'm going to do. Bogman's Glow. Here's my Bogman's Glow. It's a darker shade. I might even put some black into it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get him fixed. I I can see what the experts say about those smaller brushes because it was really dry. But man, I couldn't imagine trying to get in there with this guy. Even if it would be more moist. Alright. Fixie time. Let me get my focus back. You guys got a pretty good view of this nightmare. I am going to be able to erase the white, so it's fine. I feel better already. So I think I'm just going to leave just a very tiny bit of white there. And then I think actually after I fix this, I'm going to hit this guy again with shade again. Let him dry overnight and then fix up the highlights. That'll probably be off stream. But if you log into my Instagram at RebearWire, I should this weekend have reveal photos and have them all finished up, hopefully. I really appreciate everybody that hung out with me tonight. I had a good time chatting with you. I don't know. We'll see when it depends on if I start going to my friend's home gym. We'll see how that schedule plays out. But I need to set a day where I'm just going to paint, I think. Hang out with you guys and paint. I don't think I've mucked up the details too bad here. I'm just going to have to come in and fix it with manual highlights. So this is forcing me to do better. This has been a painful learning experience with the eyes. Oh, I shouldn't have done it. Well, I should have. Man, that texture's all fucked up on his face now. Oh well. I'll do better next time. I am gonna hit it with that shade. Maybe try to fix it with some highlights, and we're going to chalk this one up to the learning experience of my third mini. The frustrating part is I was able to fix the white, but he's got this chunk next to his eye now. Unwanted texture. I'll fix it though. It'll be fine. Fix the best I can. And I would have learned something. Again, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I will probably do this again some point next week. At some point I'm also going to figure out a set time. It's good for my schedule. But in the meantime, keep having fun. Play some games. Tell me about your week next time. And thanks again for hanging out. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. You'll get notifications about my lives, and then you'll also see the gaming content that I have of just us, me and my middle-aged buddies doing random video game stuff, having a good time. I hope you guys have a great weekend. See you later.